Car Seat Headrest, the band with as much lore in their albums as FNAF has in its games.
I bet you love those jokes, you Car Seat Headrest Will Toledo furries.
I love this band, and I love all their music, and I know way too much about them, so this is an abbreviated history of Car Seat Headrest.
1, 2, 3, 4.
This story starts out with a young man named William Barnes, later known as Will Toledo. When he was in high school, he was in a band, but his senior year, he started producing music under the alias Nervous Young Men. But with his album Bell Jar not really having any traction, he decided to change his tactics. Toledo would often stare at the headrest of his car while recording his earlier works, therefore naming his new band Car Seat Headrest. In the summer of 2010, Toledo released his first 4 debut albums. These albums were titled 1, 2, 3, and 4. Albums 1 and 2 had more of an untraditional song structure, while 3 and 4 would solidify the lo-fi indie rock beats that Car Seat Headrest would be known for. Around this time, Toledo would start attending classes at Virginia Commonwealth University and releasing a couple of EPs and the album My Back Is Killing Me Baby. After a lonely semester, Toledo transferred to the College of William and Mary, where he would release a concept album, Twin Fantasies, centered around a relationship he was in at the time. Toledo would go on to perform live shows with his fellow students, while continuing to release EPs, albums, and singles as a solo project, which brings us to 2015.
Guys, you are now listening to Car Seat Headrest.
September 2015, Car Seat Headrest announced on Facebook that it had signed to Matador Records. Around this time, Toledo not only moved to Seattle after graduating, he also recruited Andrew Katz and Jacob Bloom off Craigslist to record and tour his next album. October 2015, Car Seat Headrest with its new members released the album Teens of Style. Jacob Bloom would leave the group shortly after the record dropping to pursue medical school. Bassist Ethan Ives would come on to replace him, though he would move on to play guitar and other instruments when Seth Dalby entered the group. With all the band members' positions being set, with Seth on bass, Ethan on guitar, Andrew on drums, and Will on vocals, on May 20th, 2016, Teens of Denial was released. Toledo describes this album as a
Bildungsroman,
adding that, I wrote this during a period of my life where I was not feeling a lot of love. Its tone and content reflect that. I made it because that's what I do. Records have always marked the various phases of my life, and I needed to get out of this one, so I needed to make a record. This album was universally acclaimed and brought a new wave of popularity to the band. If you would like the story/background of Teens of Denial explained, I highly recommend 3313's video. In 2017, Car Seat Headrest released an alternative version of their single, War Is Coming If You Want, on Bandcamp for one day, with the profits going to the Transgender Law Center. The original mix was released 10 days later. In the beginning of 2018, Matador Records announced that they are going to be re-recording Twin Fantasies, titling this album Twin Fantasies Face to Face and retitling the original Twin Fantasies Mirror to Mirror. In an interview with City Beat, Toledo explained that due to his lack of resources, Twin Fantasy was unable to achieve the expansiveness he originally wanted, adding that it just never seemed like the book was closed on it. Toledo had initially considered a re-release, but after a meeting with Matador Records in 2015, they decided to revisit the material in full. Along with the re-recorded album dropping in 2018, Car Seat Headrest also released a cover of Fallen Horses by Smash Mouth, who reciprocated the favor by covering Something Soon. In 2019, there was no new content from Car Seat Headrest, just a live compilation album called Commit Yourself Completely, which brings us to 2020. Making the Door Less Open was released in the first few months of the pandemic, on May 1st. This album included elements of EDM, hip-hop, rock, and soul, which is very stylistically different from the lo-fi rock that Car Seat Headrest fans were used to. This was the first fully new content from Car Seat Headrest released since 2016 at their Teens of Denial album. Making the Door Less Open peaked at number 22 on Billboard's US Independent Albums chart. Entering the summer last year, Car Seat Headrest released 2 EPs, Mad Low Influences and Mad Low Remixes. Mad Low Influences is a collection of 4 covers that influenced Making the Door Less Open album the most. And Mad Low Remixes, as you might assume as well, is 5 remixes from the album Making the Door Less Open. And with those 2 EPs, you are caught up on the Car Seat Headrest lore. They are currently gearing up for their 2022 tour, which hopefully hopefully I might be going to. And thank you so much for watching this video, and don't forget...
Yes, Queen. Skinny Legend, Versace Boots, The House Down, Slay Queen, Hunty Mama, and Oop Daddy Work, Charlie XCX, Snatch My Wig.